Hello and welcome to the Voices of the Underheard podcast, where we aim to reduce stigma by leaning into stories and experiences of people who have been incarcerated. My name is Ariana. I am an occupational therapist and executive director here at Later.
My name's Scott Tompkins, and I live in northern Michigan. I'm on the Later board. I also work with a Brighter Way in the Ypsilanti area, and we have two divine students with us here today, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Shelby, and I'm one of Ariana's occupational therapy students from Eastern Michigan University.
And my name is Emily Lupton, and I'm also working under Ariana through Life After Incarceration.
Thank you, guys. And let's go ahead and welcome our guest for our fifth podcast, Dominique Gardette. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, no problem.
I'm just going to launch right into the first question that we have for you. So we like to ask everybody in 3 minutes or less if you could just share your story.
My story. Yeah. So a little bit about me. I'm from Ypsilanti, Michigan. I'm 33 years old. I don't have any kids. I am justice impact through the system. I'm incarcerated in Washington County. As of now, I'm in the process of bettering my life and situations. Trying to obtain a lot of things that will help me for longevity in my future, and just trying to build some stability for myself with the good resources and the peers I have involved in my life. I really appreciate them. Very honest, Shelby, Emily, Scott. That's basically it. Off the top of the head, I can say.
Okay, then we'll go into our next question, which is, what did your day-to-day routine look like when you were incarcerated?
Well, we wake up at 5:45 in the morning. I would go to the kitchen because I was a trustee, and I would make breakfast for about 420 inmates. Of course, when I wake up, I wash my face, brush my teeth, take a shower, go to the kitchen, cook. By 12 o'clock, I was done preparing breakfast and lunch. I'll probably go back to my cell, do a little reading. There was a few classes I was involved in, like MRT, some other socializing, and just classes and assessments that I was a part of. Just wanted to keep myself motivated and moving throughout the day. Wasn't a big routine, just wake up, do my job titles and my responsibilities for the day. I may have a little rec during the day, talk to a few family members on the cell phone. On the cell phone. Write a few letters, do a little praying, a little napping, and that was basically it for my regular routine of the day. Nothing spectacular, but that's it for that one.
Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to go ahead and do our next one too. Can you describe your healthcare experiences while in or after incarceration?
Yeah. Well, while incarcerated, my health experience wasn't too good because I had a wisdom tooth that that had a hole in it. First time ever having a wisdom tooth that bothered me. So I needed an oral surgeon. So for like 10 months, I was going through pain. It's the worst pain. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but yeah, I went through that pain, through my tooth for about 10 months. They gave me a few meds, which kind of dampened it down a little bit, but I did get help with resources on getting some better insurance, prior to me getting out. So, while incarcerated, the health experience wasn't the best. I appreciate the meds that, was provided for me at the time, but moving out of, that facility and getting back into society, I was, helped and assisted with resources and better dental care, and got my problem taken care of.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough situation to have while you're incarcerated for sure.
Yeah.
Stigma is something that kind of follows folks. I know I did some time, and when I came home, it's kind of like the scarlet letter, if you're familiar with that in literature. It's like you have like a badge on your chest or on your head that says you're a prisoner, da 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 da. So my question for you then, Dominique, is how has the stigma associated with incarceration impacted you personally?
It's impacted me personally because there were several opportunities and abilities that I wasn't able to obtain or have access to due to being justice impact. Whether I knew about it or didn't know about it, that was like the major effect for me, not being able to obtain or be a part of certain things, choices, opportunities, and abilities that I was enabled from being justice impact. As days go on, I deal with it. We can't reverse the hands of time, so I just try to progress and not think about what's already set in stone. I just want to continue to progress and build better opportunities for myself and others around me.
Yeah, I like the mindset that you have about moving forward and just continue to create more opportunities. And that jumps into our next question about if you could share some supports that you had and how did this impact you when coming home after being incarcerated?
Some supports I had while being incarcerated is what you're asking?
Some supports that you had when you came back to the community and after being released.
Oh, I had some support through some church people I know, a few reverends, missionaries. Like a lot of the support I had is through church members or church people who have been incarcerated. People who run the AA, not the AAA program, but the AA program and the other program associated with that. And I also got some support from some people who run nonprofit organizations, Dress to Success, and some other food pantries that pass out food throughout the week at churches.
Thank you for sharing. I feel like it's always good to have those supports and help with the reintegration into the community. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And the next question will be passed on to Scott.
Thank you. So Dominique, when you came home, were there some things that you did not have that you wish you had for support? Things that you were definitely lacking?
Yeah. Some of the things I wish I had when I came home was I really wish I had more resources as far as just assisting with me finding justice impact jobs I'm eligible for, housing, food assistance. That's just the main part. I mean, everything else I feel like I can obtain and do myself. It was just more of the resources I wish I had,
Thank you. Okay, I got another question. This one's kind of a speculative kind of a question. You're kind of I'm putting you in a position to kind of be a futurist in a sense. Let's say that the facility you're in local county jail, right? Washtenaw County Jail.
Yes, sir.
So let's say that you in another world have been teleported back to Washtenaw County as the jail administrator. What would you do differently for Washtenaw County Jail for the inmates there than what you experienced when you were inside?
Me personally, I would probably make more programs in order for inmates to be involved with. I would probably try to create more programs that help inmates get out of jail a little bit faster. I know there's several programs and classes if you complete upon completion your release. It's not too many, but I probably, if I had the opportunity or could, I would probably try to inline that. And yeah, I probably would just really want to make or create more programs that assist with, keeping us all fundamentally active and sharp in the brain.
Mhm.
That would be my thing.
Did you find that you had enough classes and stuff while you were there, or you're saying you would like to see that increased?
I would like to see it increase because a lot of classes there was at least 50, 60, sometimes 100 people ahead of you in that class list, and it sucks. A lot of people were court ordered for certain classes and, couldn't get it done because there was a big waiting list. But, if I could, I would just create different classes and opportunities and things of that sort that would assist with, fast forwarding the program or, the release of inmates.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you put yourself in that kind of futurist role. I'm going to pass on to Shelby now. She's got a question for you too.
Okay.
I'm actually going to jump in for a second. You talked about justice impacted jobs and the challenges that you face trying to obtain employment after being released. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, I can just say, for instance, there were several jobs that I was not eligible for because either they wanted a clean background or either, like most jobs, they say after 7 to 10 years, your felony or your background could be expunged. I hadn't made it yet to that 7-year mark. And so a lot of the jobs that I wanted or felt like I was capable of doing, I was, counted out of, I couldn't get that. So I was stuck with settling for, what I was able to get and do and be a part of, if that helps, elaborate.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you for expanding on that. And that leads to our next question about what advice would you like to give our listeners that you wish someone would have given you?
That's a great question. I would say don't give up. Expect things that you want or good things. It's going to be hard to obtain them and it's going to be hard to keep them. Um, I would just say never give up on your dreams. Never let anyone make you feel like you can't obtain the things you want to do or go to the places you want to visit and see. We only get one life to do this. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. But I will say is don't give up, and you can't fail until you quit. That's basically all I would say.
Yeah, I like that piece of advice. It's also very encouraging.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna pass it on to Emily.
So as we start to wrap up our questions, I wanted to ask if there was a question you wish we had asked during the interview. Is there anything you want to share with us?
I can't say off the top of my head if there was something that I wish you guys would have asked. Not off the top of my head, I don't know. I know the questions that everyone chose to ask was fine. I was comfortable with that. There's nothing I can say off the top of my head, but I will say if there was somebody else, I'm sure they would be comfortable with the same questions and maybe have more ideas about what they want to ask to figure out.
What do you hope is the main takeaway from our time with you here today, Dominique? What is the main takeaway from this interview or podcast?
I feel like the main takeaway would be to, I guess, take my experience and, just what I presented to you about, the answers to my questions and either take those questions and reform them or try to find resources or, I don't know, I can't really say off the top, but I mean, I would just think you guys would take what I said and, you know, your own perspective of it and do as you please.
Thank you, Dominique. I apologize, I'm having some technical difficulties, but
It's okay.
I did want to say thank you so much for being here. And
Mhm.
your story and experiences are very valuable for our listeners. And as I said in the beginning, the whole point of doing this podcast and interviewing people that have experience in the system is to help people, especially people that either have never experienced it themselves or never been close enough to actually understand what it looks like, what it feels like, and what circumstances you're actually put into or under. And even you're talking about the employment difficulties, I think helps like illuminate that a little bit more for people that don't quite understand that when you get
Mhm.
out, it's not peaches and cream. Like there's barrier after barrier to getting the things that you want and need to be able to do just to function, just to survive. So thank you so much for your insight.
No problem. No problem.